What's up, everybody? A Spare with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Inspiration series. Now, you might notice a couple of things. One, the title says 199.5, episode number. Two, is that this is not typically how I normally start off my episodes, and if all goes well, you'll notice the length of the episode is significantly shorter than most. There's a reason for all of this. The reason being, I mentioned a while back, a couple weeks ago, that we're coming up on the 200th episode, which technically this really should have been the 200th episode. But I've been trying to wrap up some stuff on the finalizing of my book stuff. I've been trying to work on rebuilding my website. I've been hectic. Let's just say it's hectic. And it got away from me because I originally wanted to do a kind of a leave it up to you guys, where I got the idea a few months ago from a comment about had I ever thought about putting all of my builds that have been featured on the Inspiration series into a collection. And I was like, that's a great idea. So, if all goes well, by the time you're seeing this, there should be a Space Engineers Inspiration collection on my profile page, as well as probably linked in the Sleepless Night Steam group if I can figure out how to get in there. And there should be a link in the bottom of the description, or in the description somewhere in this video, that should link you over to that. And what I'd really encourage you guys to do is to check out that collection and pick out some of your favorites, preferably no more than one or two per person, just because it'll get, I'm sure everybody's going to pick different stuff and it'll get kind of chaotic to try and rein it all in. And for our 200th episode, what I may end up doing is something a little bit different, because it's already builds that we've already featured and whatnot, so there's no real need to go through every little build and go through every little nook and cranny of it, because we've already seen them, but kind of go a general overview of remember when, and these were kind of our favorite picks of the series so far. So with that, I may do like top 5, top 10, just depending on how much time I need to spend with each build and how many various different ones I get from you guys' suggestions, as well as how many of them I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good one, you know, and really want to feature. So I'm not 100% sure, but go ahead and leave me either a comment or a message with the build out of that collection that you think is your favorite, or the one that you remember the most, or that you enjoyed the most, whatever your reasoning. Just let me know in some way, shape, or form. I don't really encourage messaging me or something on my Facebook page, only because I rarely ever respond to it or check it. It's a good place if you're on Facebook a lot for finding out when we post stuff and when I'm doing new things, but as far as interaction, I tend to look at my YouTube page. The most second to that would be emails through my website, but since it's at the moment in a change period, in an interim situation, I read them. I read all my messages. I don't always respond. So I would highly recommend commenting on this video or sending me a direct message through my channel page and letting me know which one you guys like the most. And like I said, it'll either be somewhere in either top 3, top 5, maybe top 10, but I don't want to oversell it because that might be a lot to try and fit into one episode. I'm not sure. It'll just depend on the reactions. And next week's episode will be episode 200, and then we'll actually go over that. But I didn't have time to get all the collection stuff set up, so I'm working on that as we speak. Or, yeah, literally as I'm speaking to you. I probably already worked on it, but as I'm speaking right now, working on that part. So it should be up and ready by the time this video goes live, so you guys should be able to check it out. So I do encourage you to do that, because otherwise it'll make for a very boring 200th episode if no one suggests anything, so I definitely encourage you to do so. And it'll probably be mostly a vote type system, unless everybody picks different things. If everybody's picking a different one, I'm going to have to do an executive decision and just pick from that pool what I like the most and just go with it. But if everybody's voting for the same things and stuff, you know, then it'll probably just be a majority rules. But I realize that if I'm doing 3 builds per episode, I've done almost 200 episodes now, it's gonna be at least 600 builds, so there's a lot to go through. So it would not surprise me if everybody was picking different stuff. And so yeah, that's all I'm saying about that. I think I covered all that. If I talk any more about it, I'll probably just end up rambling. But I know you guys are probably thinking, "Aw, well that was disappointing. I waited all week for this. I was hoping to get some builds." Well, I'm glad you asked, because I actually pulled up the workshop because I was going to start looking, copy and pasting the titles and things to find those builds and compile them into a collection, and realize there were some good frickin' builds this week. Like, there was some really good stuff. So I have elected to include 3 builds as well. I'm not going to go over them right now. If you guys want to see more on these, let me know. And either into the 201 episode, something like that. I don't know. At some point, I'll go back and revisit these because they are really cool. But I just wanted to kind of make this a bit of a shorter announcement type video, and I'm going to spend the rest of the time I would normally be recording to compile the list, so I don't really have time to do a full showcase of all of them. But I would, without question, go back through these because they're really cool. So with that, let's check them out. Alrighty, so here you go. These were the 3 I was going to feature, and like I said, they'll be in the list, so if you really want to see those, go for it, and go ahead and vote for those as well. I don't remember all their names. The links will be in the description as well as the collection list, but we've got, I think this is the RCSP Phoenix? All of these are vanilla builds, by the way, which blew my mind because they have some really cool stuff to them. So we have the RCSP Phoenix, I think, a Klingon something battle cruiser, which I'm not even gonna try and pronounce because it's Klingon for the most part. And then a Corinthian battle tank, which as tanks go, it's friggin' awesome. I mean, this thing looks beast. So yeah, so there's that. Now this is going to cause some problems. I am fully aware of that. You don't have to let me know, because I usually do the pick one of these for a dissection build. You guys can still do that. I may still include a poll for the reverse engineering series. I still kind of interchange dissection and reverse engineer. So if you'd like to see something cut apart, that's fine. I will say the Klingon cruiser over here is actually a small ship, I believe. Yeah, I think, yeah, there's the flight seat right there. So, this doesn't have an interior, as far as I'm aware. So, it's more of an exterior design hull type thing. So bear that in mind if you're wanting to see that reverse engineer. There's not a lot to look at on the inside of the ship. Same goes with the tank. Not a lot there to cut apart that goes internally. There's a lot of little stuff on the outsides and things that could be learned from. And the Phoenix was the only ship that's actually like a large ship with an interior. Though, to what extent, I'm not 100% sure. But from the exterior stuff, they just looked cool. Like, these were some cool builds. There was even a couple other ones that I subscribed to myself that I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool build. But I was gonna pick these as my feature for this episode. So, like I said, I realized this is gonna be a bit of a bump in the road, that I should have actually had all this done. And then at episode 199, I should have been talking to you guys about this and had the collection up for you guys to see. That was the plan. Didn't work out that way. I gotta just kind of roll with it. And this week, I did not have time to do a full episode and compile the list. So I had to kind of split the difference. So I hope it doesn't inconvenience you two guys or upset you guys too much, but that's just the way that I had to slice it. So these were the builds I was going to pick. They will be at the probably the top because they're the newest of the collection. So you're free to vote for those if you'd like to see those in the next episode. I will, however, come back to these at some point, even if I add an extra one into an episode for a couple episodes or something like that. Just add an extra build in there and go over them relatively quickly, something like that. But with that, we're going to wrap things up for this episode. Let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see, and check out the collection and pick your top pick of the entire series. We'll go over them for episode 200 next week. Also, you can leave a vote on the poll for if you'd like to see one of these 3 reverse engineered. I know it's a little bit weird not seeing them walked through and showcased beforehand, but again, it's a little bit of a extenuating circumstances kind of thing. So, cast your votes, as it were, for all of those different various things. And in the meantime, I know this was a bit short, abrupt, and unexpected, but I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.